big challenge on our new night, and I think the change of the time and day has affected how many people have shown up on the panel. And maybe it's that Game of Thrones is on currently or going to come on, and so people are more involved in that. However, we have had two people show up, and I'm really happy to have them here. First is Humble Marty, and she's our resident lady who usually comes in, and I'm really happy that she came. And Illustrator Monk, who always brings great imagery, as well as Humble Marty. So we're going to have those two people who did show up do this challenge. And let me look that up. I had a long alliteration for this challenge, which is kind of ridiculous, but maybe you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to read it off. Naughty, nubile, native, nymphs, nimbly, nixing, nookie. That is our theme today. And basically, what they're going to have to do is have mischievous and risque native girl teasing an adventurer in the background pursuing her. They can choose any cultural motif of their choice, but it has to be known somehow that her tribe or people, they are headhunters. So the adventurer is in for a big surprise if he catches his quarry. So as always, colors are welcome, and basically that's it. So Humble Marty, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get going?
Okay, I'm an artist you can find on DeviantArt and Twitter. I also have at least one small video on YouTube, and I'm already working on speed paint to show off for the 200 plus follower wallpaper that I did.
Nice, excellent. Um, Illustrator Monk, you got anything to throw out there for whoever's listening?
I'm Illustrator Monk. You can find me on Twitter at Illustrator Monk, and I will post stuff there that you can purchase or just look at.
Right on. Cool. Excellent. So let's get started. You guys, you heard what the parameters are. If you have any questions with that, you can always ask me during while we're drawing or right now. Is it pretty clear?
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
All right, great. Illustrator Monk has a short amount of time to finish, so he's going to really be putting the heat on his drawing here. Maybe somebody else will show up. We never know, but we'll get this through. And if Humble Marty finishes beforehand, then we may cut it short. But I really am happy that the two showed up, and anybody who's in the chat, and I will check in a second if there is anybody in there who's shown up. So let's get it going. Cheesecake challenge. Oh, we have Flit Amaranth. Holy moly, that stream title. I know. I know. P.S. Melter says Timmy. Timmy? Timmy. Okay. Zach goes for popcorn. So, how we doing, folks? Well, we are depleted in the panel today, but that does not mean we're not gonna persevere and forge ahead, like adventurers, as the theme is about. I know that that's a long alliteration there, Flit, but I hope you appreciate it because these two great artists may come up with something cool with that. Monk versus Marty. It's time to duel. That's what Flit Amaranth says. Going back to it's a head-to-head duel today, definitely. Um, it's a nice rainy Sunday afternoon here in Utah. I live in Utah Valley, for those who are interested. I'm not really doxing myself. It's a fairly big place. Lots of people live here. Uh, it's south of Salt Lake City, and we have a lake to the west and mountains to the east. And so and we also have mountains to the west, but they're not as big as the ones to the east. So if you ever come here, it's a pretty high desert mountain valley, and I'm privileged to live in a place that I think is quite beautiful. And but today it's very rainy, which is unusual. Even though they say May showers and all that, we don't get tons of showers. But this has been a fairly rainy May here in Utah.
Come on, it snows sometimes.
It does
In
snow
May.
sometimes here. We're known for that dry, powdery snow in our state, and this year wasn't the greatest snow year, but wasn't terrible. Uh, and it was nice for the skiers. It brings in the tourists, which we like. And then we have tourists during the summer for the natural wonders that we tend to have in this state, especially to the south and southeast of our state. For anybody who ever comes here, I know this is like a travelogue where they draw. Uh, you want to avoid the west side of the state because basically it's just a flat, barren place, like Salt Flats. Unless you want to go see racing in a certain part of the year, it's pretty much nothing out there. But to the west, I mean to the east, excuse me, you have lots of mountains, Grand Staircase, 5 national parks, a whole bunch of national monuments, and a fairly nice people that won't hassle you too much. So that's my state, and I don't know why I'm giving a travelogue. It's just something that came up in my head. I was thinking about something the other day, and I don't know. Have you guys ever had a dream where you're flying? You actually fly? Either of you two?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think you might remember if you had, because it's like one of those things where you wake up and you're like, "Damn it, I didn't get to fly," and it got me thinking about the turn of the century where people were trying to figure out how to get into the air, and they had done like hot air balloons and things, but nobody had ever gotten like a directed apparatus that would get you into the air. And you look at those old reels where there were these disastrous designs where people, they tried something and it went horribly wrong. In some cases, actually, people died trying to fly. And then you got these bicycle makers, and they weren't the only ones trying to do this, but they were definitely the ones who got there first.
The Wright brothers.
The Wright brothers, at Kitty Hawk, and they were they made bicycles, but they had this kind of passion to see if they could get themselves into the air, and they did it. And I wondered what that experience was like for them for the first time, because what they were flying on was very much just kind of a kite, and it had a motor on it, and what the feeling was like when they were the first ones to literally take flight. And what I'm talking about here with this kind of anecdotal stuff is your passion. When you have a passion for something and then you finally achieve it, what does it feel like? And I achieved getting a comic funded, but I haven't achieved as of yet getting it published and into people's hands. And I'm just hoping that that feeling that the Wright brothers or anybody else who strived for some sort of greatness, some sort of goal, I'm hoping that feeling is as elated as I believe that they felt on that day in Kitty Hawk on the beach when they flew. So that was kind of what I was getting at there. I know I was kind of rambling, but hopefully you understand a little bit of what I'm trying to relay. Let's take a look at what Marty's doing. Oh, starting out always with the color with Marty. She loves the color, and she brings us interesting, very vibrant images. Let's see what Illustrator Monks is doing. Pretty girl taking shape. I'm feeling that quite a bit, and it's nice. Great job, guys. I'm gonna jump back into the chat, and we got 3 people watching now, 4 likes. Thank you for showing up, you that did. I'm not sure if a Sunday night is, or at least this time is the time that we should hold this, because definitely this is the lowest we've had both in panel and in the chat show up. So, we got 4 people now. Let's see what I had to say here. Okay, Zach Hawkins visited the museum at Kitty Hawk years ago. It was awe-inspiring to stand on the ground where such an amazing dream was realized. Yeah, I can feel that, man. I was down there. I drove by the area, and I didn't stop, which was probably short-sighted. I don't know when it will be that I'll get in that direction again. Foot Amaranth does a shill for my book, which I really appreciate. And you can check out that greatness by picking up Little Girl Lethal on Indiegogo. Indeed, you can. For those who are listening now or subsequently to the broadcast, I do have a book on Indiegogo called Little Girl Lethal about a young lady named Sugar Lightspeed who has abilities and powers akin to kind of a superhero, but in a world that's very gritty, very raw. It's not a pretty happy place, although it is beautiful to look upon. If you like revenge stories, if you like a beautiful woman in a very unclad state at times and ultra violence, those are type of things that you would like, which is not for children. You will probably enjoy my book, Little Girl Lethal, again on Indiegogo. Zach Hawkins does seem to have thrown people off with the change, even though you announced it. I did, but I realize that sometimes people take habit kind of takes over, and we'll see if this can continue this way, or I might have to switch to another night or back to Tuesday. We shall see. This was at a suggestion that more people might be able to do it on the weekend, but hopefully that that will happen in subsequent weeks. But tonight seems to be a bit of a letdown. Although I do appreciate our two artists showing up, and I'm sure they'll do great. It would be nice if we had a few more people to uh, come and be on the panel. Zach Hawkins says, excited for Little Girl Lethal. I am too. I was talking to uh, our two panelists just before we came on about what I'm doing. I'm lettering currently right now. And for those who haven't followed along or maybe have missed it, my character, Sugar, it has the ability to see auras to understand who she's dealing with and so forth. And as I'm lettering, I'm trying to incorporate that into the lettering as opposed to how she visualizes the people, which could be annoying after a while if every time every person you see besides her has kind of a halo of light on it. So when they speak, you see the around the edge, the halo, a little bit of what it kind of gives you an idea of what she sees. And I've been trying to work with that so it's not distracting, and it's been a process. Um, Hopefully, it'll come out and everybody will like it, and I'll have to put that before some people before I print. I have a cat that constantly wants to get up on me as I speak. He thinks it's his. He's got to make sure that he's involved in the conversation in some way. So if you hear me scold my cat to get off me, that's what happens. Okay, and just then, exactly the same thing. All right, back to the panel. Let's see what we got going on. And I was stuck on Humble. Well, Humble is looking good. She's starting to take shape on things. Yeah, nice. And Illustrator Monk got a pretty little thing with it looks like a headdress. We'll see what takes shape as he moves along. Um, both of these artists are becoming regulars, especially Humble, who's been here pretty much from the first. But Illustrator Monk has done quite a few things now, and he always brings really beautiful imagery to the Cheesecake Challenge. And yeah, so let's go back to the chat. What we got now? Yep. Going H2H with Game of Thrones head to head with Game of Thrones might be part of it too. People are nuts for that show. Yeah, they seem to be, don't they? They are. Some of them are very upset about the current state of this season. Even so much as like 1 million people now have signed a petition to um, apparently
to redo season 8.
Redo season 8, yeah. Which I don't think is going to happen, but maybe they'll do another season. I don't know. I mean, things have pretty much been set for what happened in the. I haven't even watched it, but I've heard so much about it. I feel like I've watched it, and I can understand some of the complaints. But people will do as they do. Everybody's had complaints about many different franchises and things that they love, how they've been um, changed for in a different direction or manner that they didn't quite like. And I fear that that's kind of the spirit of the age, the zeitgeist, as they say. Um, that legacies are not being respected, and people want to deconstruct stuff and make it kind of into what they think it should be, as opposed to what it had always traditionally been. I just think that's something that people want to do now, and it's with them
Um,
like what?
oh, sorry. The way I see it is people just want to. I don't know. The way I see it, it's like it goes in cycles, and we're in the cycle of classic stories, and people want to be the hip, edgy boy.
Yeah, well,
Makes sense.
I think they want to be edgy by the old saying subverting expectations and going off, and it's like they're going at an oblique angle, towards what people are normally used to. And I personally think the majority of people don't like that. And I'm not saying it can't be done well, because it can. Um, but I think a lot of people in this day and age think they know how to storytell, but they've abandoned even that. They've abandoned traditional storytelling and structural ideas just to be quote unquote avant garde. And we see many a different franchise falling, in my opinion, falling prey to that mentality. And it causes a schism within fandoms and within ideological terms and all kinds of other things that make people upset and hurt and apathetic a lot of times. And at the same time, so other people are very enthusiastic about it. They think it's the greatest thing ever, and so
Until they find something that they didn't want changed.
right.
Changed.
And then you hear a great outcry in the other way. Um, it's kind of funny that way. Uh, we who are you know who love our comics have seen similar things like that happen lately, especially in some of the larger industry entities. How they have just kind of abandoned the old for quote unquote the new, better, and much more improved, with big old quotations for a lot of people. And you know, I guess that's what's got to happen. We can't stop it. We're not in charge. But here's the thing: if you have a creative bone in your body, if you can write or draw or both or facilitate people who can write and draw, you may have the ability, because of a vacuum that has been created um, by such events, to make something of your own. And maybe it's always a toss up. It's always a roll of the dice. But maybe you'll have success bringing back your own ideas into the public eye and have them judge you whether you have merit or not. And that's what I'm trying to do with my book. Again, my book is not necessarily for children, but I'm trying to create a world that people will enjoy for um, for time to escape, to have catharsis, to watch and read, and maybe for just a second get outside of the daily mundane life that we have and all the nonsense that goes on in our world. That's, I think, what entertainment is meant to be. Um, and I hope many other people are doing exactly the same thing. Some people feel that that's competition. No, I just think that foments greater ideas and people push each other. And if you can keep that kind of camaraderie amongst creatives, or at least respect, then we could have a new renaissance within entertainment, even in comics and at large. And hopefully that will come about before things get too bleak. If people follow me with that, let's go back to the chat. I'm getting dark, and people know me that if I start going down rabbit holes, then I'm spiraling downward into the macabre.
Well, if you wanted something inane, I found out there is literally a bird named a tit, and it's just a tiny songbird, like a bush-tailed tit or the blue-green tit, and they're like tiny baseballs with beaks.
Do they have a beak that's very round and pointy?
No, the birds themselves happen to be small and perky.
Well, that's what I really like small perky tits. It's because just I mean sometimes I like fat, you know, kind of ungainly tits as well. But I mean, I don't know about species. All right, I'm going to go back to chat. If you guys have anything to add to that um, slight non sequitur, then do so. Oh yeah, this is Zach Hawkins. Oh yeah, apparently that is tonight. Good thing I don't watch TV because Zach's always smoking his meat. He never watches TV. Zach Hawkins once again. LOL, you're a man baby if you don't like new comics movies. But hey, but also OMG, 1 million of us don't want us want. Oh yeah, Game of Thrones changed. Sorry, I'm a poor reader, especially when I'm tired. Apologies. Flit Amaranth. Too many people want too badly to put their mark on the established property rather than just tell a good story. I totally agree. Once again, Flit Amaranth says, "Look out! I think there's a skunk on the panel. Is there a skunk?
Yes, there is.
Oh, we have many.
Yes.
Goodness gracious! Thank you for showing up. We will have three wonderful people
I'm
on the
so
panel.
I'm so sorry. I was
Yay!
watching something else, and I'm like,
More
oh,
people.
I got a notification. Hey, Slick Jimmy's on. Oh, I gotta go check this out. I'm like, there's only 2 people drawing. What's wrong with this picture?
I thought it would be, and people are saying, it might be Game of Thrones is on tonight. That might be part of it, or
Yeah,
maybe this
maybe.
is the greatest time. I thought it would be better. Maybe I should push it back next week to a later time, not too late. But I'm trying to find a sweet spot. Tuesdays felt like a lot of people couldn't make it, and then some people could, but then they seemed really tired by the end of the thing because they were pushing in tonight. A lot of people are on the east side of the country. I just want to find a good spot that doesn't um, make people have to like get up in the middle of the night or stay up into the middle of the night or infringe on their work time.
So what we're doing? Wood nymphs?
What was that?
Are we doing wood nymphs or something?
Here's the thing. Let me explain it for a good Manny. Uh, It's naughty nubile, native nymphs, nimbly, nixing, nookie. Now, the optimal word there is native, all right? Natives of around the world. Now, natives could be anybody. There are a lot of native Europeans. There are a lot of native Asians. There are a lot of native Africans. There are natives all over the place. Pick your culture, all right, wherever you want to be. But you have to have a mischievous, risque native girl teasing, an adventurer in the background pursuing her. But that native girl's tribe or people, they're headhunters. So he's in for a big surprise.
Okay.
Hey, boyo.
Oh, so now I'm just gonna look at Humble Marty, see what she's doing.
Does that make sense, Manny?
Uh, I'm just looking at Illustrative Monk, seeing what he's doing. All right. Okay. Oh boy.
So I'm going to go back to the chat real quick and finish up some of the chats.
Ooh, I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, where was I at? I don't even know where I was at. Okay, Flit Amaranth. Look out! There's a skunk on the panel, and that's where I ended off. Exact change only. How do you stay motivated? I'm writing right now, but I'm hitting a wall. That's a great question. There have been times when I have just, bam, hit the wall, hit that writer's block, and it seems like it's pulling teeth just to get anything out, and everything that I put on page just seems trite and pedantic and uninspired. And here's the best thing I can say. And again, I'm not a professional writer that's been paid year after year to do this, but when I do hit that, I just write something. Just if you're not into writing, the story that you seem locked on, just start writing something else. And put down your thoughts. Do a journal in a page or something like that, entry. Or write something about people that anything just to get it flowing again, because once you get it flowing and all of a sudden it seems to unlock your brain. And I know it's hard, and some people, like, they get drunk. My friend Brian Ball, who writes Rags, he says he has to get drunk to write. If that's his process, I suppose. But I really like what he writes, so maybe that's the catalyst you need. Maybe you need something. Many people have used all kinds of ways to inspire their muse, and that's always the quandary. Um, I hope that helps you. I know it's really tough when you hit that wall, but I would say, if you want to write something on that story, if you have an outline and you seem stuck on whatever it is that that you are trying to do, let it rest. Step back for a little bit and just pick another spot in your outline and start writing and see what you can put out. Try to expand upon an idea or a concept that you have, or a beat, a moment, an event, and just expand upon that for the time being, so that you feel like you've done something. Because if you write pages, even if it's not in the sequence that you wanted it to do, you feel like you've done something. Even sometimes when I've written just a paragraph, I felt like I did something, as opposed to just letting that blank page, or that stopped place, just stare back at me and frustrate me. So that's what I have to say. Just put something down on the page so you feel like you did something as a writer. All right, I'm not going to belabor that anymore. I'm sure that there are many other things that can be said by many different other writers, but that's my 2 cents. Let's see, we go on. Thank you for the question, Exact Change. Only it was actually a good one. Manny says, "Good Dog Press" says aloha. For everybody who doesn't know, Manny is he's the creator of Skunk Girl, who he will be putting Skunk Girl out on Indiegogo, I hope soon, or maybe just
It,
what are you planning on? Tell us, Manny.
it will come out next month, in June. So I'm starting to wrap up, starting to finish up the book. Myself and Tank Ferret, we're pretty much starting to do the promos for it. We're getting out there as much as we can. So I also have an art contest going on right now. It
Hmm.
ends on Friday, so anybody can enter. You can be pro, you can be amateur, it can be anything. Just give me some pencils, and whoever's the winning art, the pencils I'll ink, and it goes into Skunk Girl #1. You'll have a pinup page. So that's pretty
That's
cool.
excellent. That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So everybody look out for Skunk Girl coming out next month. That'll be one I'll be putting some money down on,
Thank
because I like Manny and I like the concept. It's quite fun. P.S. Melter says, "Stop booming, Jimmy. It's really hard, even though I'm a Gen Xer, to stop booming, because that's how I roll." And then P.S. Melter says, "So who's on the panel? I know Jimmy and Manny. The other two people are Humble Marty, and
Hello.
also, and she's doing this right here. 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to go back to the panel. Oh, wait, do we have somebody else? Josh,
Hey, how you doing?
hey, are you John? Josh, the
Yeah.
amazing animator, on here currently. Thank you for showing
Hey.
up. That's 4 people. And then Melter, was that Melter who's talking to me? I'm booming again. Sorry, Melter. Yes, it was Melter. We have Illustrator Monk, who is on the panel as well. He's
Hello.
a
Freaking
great
out.
artist. You're freaking out. So Illustrator Monk is he's I'm just seeing his icon right now. Okay, there it is. You can see he's working a very Frazetta like um, composition here. So I'm enjoying that. Uh, and then we have, let's see what Marty's doing. Marty's doing kind of an elfin kind of looking gal. So very exotic. native of some sort. And then we have Josh and his beautiful hair
Hey,
and head. I'm
just
sure he'll
getting started. Just getting
I'm sure
started.
he'll figure out a way to show us what he's doing in a minute. Great to have him here. Everybody knows Josh from Manimations
Yeah.
and
And Science Wizard Comics.
and Science Wizard Comics, who also works very closely with one of the guys that I work closely with, Troy Torres of Wanpool fame. And there's a bunch of things that Science Wizard Comics is doing, like help Becky Smash. And what are some of the other projects you have in the pipeline?
Well, we got a few we haven't announced yet, but Help Becky Smash is going to be a sort of a dual project with Troy. It's two graphic novels that follow the same story, and you see it from two different perspectives. So it's going to be really fun. Help Becky Smash is about these two twin sisters, one of them blessed with incredible beauty, and the other one cursed with incredible ugliness. And they are on a sci-fi adventure quest to get a boyfriend for Becky, the ugly one.
Well, that's a worthy quest.
Yeah, and I do have a contest as well going for Help Becky Smash because we haven't publicly shown what Becky looks like yet. I want people to draw what they think she'll look like, and whoever's closest will get a fabulous prize.
Nice. Is that prize been announced, or is that still under wraps?
I want to keep it secret because I think it'll be more funny that way.
All right, cool.
Or fun. I wanted to say fun, not funny.
All right, Trusty Sidekick says all the Game of Thrones fans should watch our At the Altar stream from last night, where we drew Game of Thrones on Good Dog Press channel. Yeah, everybody should go and check that out. And yeah, so that sounds like a good time had by all, right?
Yeah, there was no spoilers.
P.S. Melter, you know how I felt with the drawing blood thing? Then, what was that? What are you saying, dude? You know how I felt with the drawing blood thing? Then Jimmy, LOL. That was your syntax is off there, bud. Just telling you. People watch Game of Thrones. That's what Melter asks. Yeah, people apparently do. Flit Amaranth, another challenger has appeared, which I believe he's referring to Josh, the amazing animator. Glad you four have showed up. I'm very, very happy to see you there. We have 11 people watching. We have 8 people who have liked the stream. If some of you other people who are watching right now wouldn't mind clicking the like button, we'd really appreciate it. If not, that's all right too. It's a free country. Zach Hawkins, yo, Josh. Zach says, what's up, man? And Zach Hawkins says to me, Jimmy still hasn't noticed that Josh has popped in. I guess I didn't at the time. I guess he's sneaky like that. He's like a ninja, more ninja than neighborhood ninja.
Canadian ninja.
Exact Change only says, thanks, Jimmy. Any help is welcome. You're welcome, man. Yes, he had to do a typo on my name, Jimmy. That's fine. I'll you can call me anything you want as long as you call me dinner. P.S. Melter, you are 10 minutes behind. I was agreeing with you with problems with time issues and picking up days when I did my drawing show. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes, I get behind. I'm booming hard tonight. I do apologize. Let's see. Going back to the chat and to what's going on. Look at Manny. Yes, another very Frazzettified feeling going on with Manny. Everybody who doesn't know who Frank Frazetta is, and if you don't, shame on you. If you love art, Frank Frazetta was, in my opinion, one of the greatest masters of the 20th century. And he died just a few years back in 2010 on May 10th. And so he's greatly missed among those who loved his work. If you haven't seen his work, I would advise that you go look it up. go Google Frank Frazetta and dig his mastery. And this challenge is very much on the lines of what Frank Frazetta might have done, which I'm glad that y'all are kind of picking up on that a little bit.
What, the Nubile Nookie Nymphs?
Yeah.
Nubile what?
Nubile natives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He loved himself a very voluptuous woman. That Frank did. For those of you who don't know, for his friends, most of them called him Fritz. So sometimes he would sign his stuff not with his iconic signature of Frazetta or Frank Frazetta, but he'd sign it Fritz when he did like a little doodle for a friend. I could go on and on about Frank, but I probably won't. To say one, except for one story that I've often related. Ralph Bakshi in Painting with Fire, which was a documentary about Frank, he had this anecdote to say that there was a time they needed a rabbit just drawn, and so Frank just went in another room and sat down, and about 15-20 minutes later he came in with a rabbit jumping in motion, looking behind its back as if it was being chased by something. And Ralph Bakshi, who is a great artist in and of himself, he's one of the more famous animators from like the 70s and 80s. He said he couldn't have drawn this rabbit if it had taken him his entire life to get the emotion, the visceral quality of this animal. And then he'd ask Frank, well, where did you get the reference for that? And he goes, I didn't have a reference. He just did it out of his head. And he got all the anatomy and everything, the proportions just right. That was Frank Frazetta.
That's pretty metal.
It is pretty metal, and he did a lot of metal covers too. I'm going back to letting the dead air just waver on the air. Yeah. Going back to the chat, we got in here. Got 10 watching now. We dropped one. Still 8 liked. Let's see. Melter says, I love you. Thank you, Melter. You're nice. And that was the last person to post. So people are either watching or they've gotten bored of my voice, but not of the art, I'm sure, because the art is looking good. Again, thank you for all 4 of you for showing up on this shifting of my time schedule. Hopefully this will not be a problem next week, because friggin' Game of Thrones won't be disrupting my broadcast. Yeah.
Well, they were basically having the fire-breathing Super Bowl.
Is that what is happening?
You have to worry that much about Game of Thrones.
I don't know what's happening. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but it's like a sports day.
Sports day, like Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me sometimes every time I hear about it.
I know some people were upset by Daenerys, the Dragon Queen or whatever. She opened up a can of whoop ass and let loose on people with their dragons.
Well,
they were upset about that.
They turned her into Anakin Skywalker. She killed kids.
Yeah, a little bit.
She
Yeah.
killed children.
Yeah, she killed women and children and stuff. So that kind of just ruined it.
Didn't hear about that part.
Again.
But I did get to see the scene put to fun theme music. At least one of the edits that was on YouTube.
Huh. Well, it is Game of Thrones, so I tend to not be as critical of Game of Thrones for like atrocities, because it seems like the entire show is just chock full of atrocities and incest and rape and yada 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 and murder, and we got the Red Wedding and all that shit. So I can give them a little slack that way, because it is this brutal kind of medieval world. But here's the thing, one of the things I had with Anakin Skywalker, since I'm going off on that tangent there, I have a hard time giving him because of that one incident where he goes and executes Order 66 himself, as opposed to just letting the clones take over, and go in there and massacre the Padawans. I've always since then it's hard for me. I just have to discount the prequels to see the redemption arc of
Well, exactly. I agree with you because it just cancels out the New Hope. I
right.
mean, the New Hope
So
is supposed to be redemption of Darth Vader. Why would
yeah,
you want to have him become a good guy after he kills kids?
yeah. I mean, like I can see him being brutal and ruthless, like especially when you see him like killing like people in the Empire and getting his way because he hates the whole situation he's got himself embroiled in. But with the prequels, you see how he treats his wife and how he treats his best friend, and and I don't think the lead up. I understand where Lucas was going with it, but I don't think the build up to him shifting over to the dark side was properly structured. And
Mm.
then once you shifted him to the dark side, you made him so dark that it's hard for me to have any sympathy for him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I
And
agree.
and people, I know a lot of people like the prequels now, especially with how the sequels have kind of progressed and they kind of aggrandize the prequels. Well, I've never felt that way. I felt that there were great moments in the prequels that just by themselves were really fun or really cool, but when you put it all together, it just doesn't mesh very well. uh, I mean, this is my stream, so I'm going to go off on a tangent here real quick.
Tangent
Um,
away.
Darth Maul should have never died until he faced Anakin in combat, and there shouldn't have been these
That's
series of
obvious.
other apprentices. They should have built up Darth Maul to be this uber badass that could. I mean, he takes out what's his name, Liam Neeson's character. I always forget his name.
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn. He takes out Qui-Gon Jinn and almost, and just by the skin of his teeth, Ben Kenobi escapes Darth Maul. That would have been a much better ending to that show. And then Darth Maul is still out there, this predator that is in the shadows all the time, and then when he shows up, just he lays waste to everything around him. And then, he's there for years. They don't get him, and they know he's prowling about and they know there's somebody behind him, but that would make everything so much more tension filled because when he shows up and then barely everybody knew it was Palpatine, but if you didn't reveal Palpatine at all, you just have this whisper in the back of say Maul's mind or something, or from the shadows, or that you never see Palpatine. That's how I would build up Maul. And then at the very end I would have had this battle between Jedi and Maul, who's just like wasting through lots of Jedi, and then he comes face to face with Anakin, who's riding this tight rope between light and dark at this point, right? And he's done some bad things. I wouldn't have, there's some setup with his youth. I would have changed a whole lot around because it just seemed really strange to me. But and then there would be this moment where they have this epic lightsaber battle between Anakin Skywalker and Darth Maul, and then he takes Darth Maul down. And he doesn't necessarily have to kill him, but he could be the one that cuts him in half, and later on he shows up and all this other business. But I mean, and then he has to hide in the shadows because he just can't. He can't deal with Darth Vader with Anakin Skywalker, and Anakin Skywalker takes that apprenticeship away from him. That would have been such a better arc for those two characters um, than what we got. And the proof is in the pudding that nobody wants Count Dooku to come back. As much as I like Christopher Lee, um, nobody wants General Grievous all that much to come back. But they brought Darth Maul back for one simple reason. He was a great character that Lucas squandered. And there you go. There's my little spiel about the prequels, of which I could go on about many things that are wrong with the prequels, but I'm not going to again belabor the point. Just that's one because some of you may not have been old enough to know how much they hyped that character, then they killed him off, which I was like, what are you doing? Anyway.
Oh no, that was one of the most egregious sins of possibly any piece of entertainment I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
just to introduce such an amazing bad guy
Yeah,
character, and then
amazing
immediately
bad guy that
kill him
didn't have to
off.
say anything really. He just had to
Yeah,
show up, and
he just had this
this
perfect
visual
look.
look that just he embodied devilish darkness, and then they just killed him, and I was like, he was in freaking ninja too, which is, and then you had these just every other lightsaber battle after that to me was just kind of anticlimactic because there was nobody that measured up to Darth Maul.
Nope, not even close.
You basically had the stage presence.
Right, and the thing is like, he was just the actor who played him wasn't a terrible actor. They didn't even have to have him say much to be this menacing presence that would have been always there, always the right hand of Palpatine or the Emperor eventually, Darth Sidious. I mean, and then I'm going to go back on one thing with Anakin should never have been so young. It just it was a bad call on Lucas's part. They should have him be about 12, and then so the budding relationship between the two, between Padme and Anakin, would have been a little bit more less skeevy. When they did it in the first film. Later on, when he grows up, it makes the parody is there, but and then people say it's only 5 or 6 years. I'm like, still, him looking all googly eyed at a girl who's maturated and he's not. That was just ugh, it just gave me the
A little
heebie-jeebies.
weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing when you watch like when Luke and Leia kiss each other in Empire after you've watched um after you've watched Return of the Jedi and go, oh, okay then. Just like that was a choice there, Luke. George, that was a choice you made there.
It
Let's
sure was.
let's go back to the chat. If you guys have anything to say about that panel, what I was talking about, I kind of cut off Josh, so sorry about that. Going back to the chat, some old metalhead has showed up. Some old metalhead has a comic book called Thrashers. He had an Indiegogo. I don't know if he got it. I did. I'm sorry, but I don't recall if you got that funded. But it was a cool idea. He's a creator. Welcome into the chat. Greetings, metalheads. Just watching right now. Volume down. All right, that's good. PS Melter, hey, it's my metal dude. And then Metalheads, what's up, Melter? I'm here. I'm here for the comic eye candy, or should it be eye cake? Cheesecake. It is. Yeah. Eye cake. I'm. Sink your teeth in. Zach Hawkins. I stand by the decision I made on the opening night of Phantom Menace. First half of the movie was trash, and I walked out. Haven't seen one since, and I don't care to. Whoa, man, that was that hit you hard, man.
Most of us waited until The Last Jedi before we completely removed ourselves from Star Wars.
I have to agree. I mean, I was willing to pay out for. I did pay for The Force Awakens. Gosh, I'm getting old. I did pay for that one, but I didn't pay for The Last Jedi. A friend of mine who works for a theater, he got me in for free, and it was just what I expected, and it made me sad. And I'm apathetic now about Episode 9, which is even more sad. So,
I couldn't give two shits about Episode 9. I saw the trailer and I was just like, yeah, that's about what I expected.
yeah.
Pass.
Yeah, meh. And then Flit Amaranth says Clone Wars TV series made up for the prequel's failure. Well, mostly. I have to say that the Clone Wars were very well made, and within the storylines, they were okay. I don't think that the problem is the Clone Wars. Everybody knows what's going to happen. You're just waiting for the shoe to drop, and then characters that you get invested in that you love, well, they all fucking die. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Clone Wars. Although I do think that Gennady Tartakovsky, Tartakovsky, Tartakovsky. There we go. I believe that he did a great job in making it and show running the series and making it look beautiful. So there you go. Guy has skills.
I don't know. The Clone Wars series, I felt like it was okay at best. It wasn't like anything particularly great. It was just okay. But I think considering that what had come before just previously was kind of like like pretty meh all around.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of that, like people gave it a lot less of a hard time. Like they were a lot more lenient with it than they otherwise I think would have been.
Well, I think
That's
so.
my personal feeling.
Like
I came into it like way later.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have any problem with the visuals per se.
No, not with the visuals. I actually really like the style.
Yeah, and the stories were okay at times. I know a lot of people love like thing, and they say it makes it enriches the universe, and I have to say yes, it does. But in a strange way, you know, there's some nods in the Clone Wars till the expanded universe, right, here and there, which now are washed away. And so a lot of the stuff you read, I think of the Clone Wars as much more expanded universe now, in some of the things it touches upon here and there. But you know, that's just me. And I know the people who love the games, which I'm not a big gamer. I mean, there are people who are just fanatics about the games that had lots of lore, added lore, as well as the novelizations, the comics, and so forth. That just got.
Are gamers. What are people playing recently?
I don't know. I don't play all that many games, so yeah. I know that some people have complained about certain things, but you know, there you go. Look at Manny. He's got a saber-tooth tiger, and he's got a very scantily clad young lady, and it's coming along. Humble Marty. We've got kind of a Tinkerbell thing going on. Feels like a little bit. And there's the guy chasing after her, and yeah.
I
Fun
used
stuff.
to bait. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I used to beta test this one game that happened a long time ago, and I guess that's where I got the idea from.
All right, cool. Right on. Going to Illustrator Monk currently. He's got a kind of an Amazon-in feel here, at least a little bit to me. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Very nice. And back to Josh. Josh is showing a little bit of a little panty peek going on there. I'm always down for the panty peek. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And he's gonna probably bring some more stuff into it. Glad y'all showed up today. Illustrator Monk is hurrying quickly to finish his piece because he is under a time crunch. So everybody cheer him on as he brings it.
Aren't we all under a time crunch?
Yeah, I mean, not ridiculously. He has to go early, so is what I'm saying.
I see.
Yeah, so.
I think I got a little too ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, and we love you for it. We love you for your ambition because it's beautiful what you do. Let's go back to the chat and see if anybody has yacked away since I was last in there. Zach Hawkins. No, wait, we have Nasa Rabati. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
This is so Nasser goes. So this is where all the bigots hang out these days. Yes, we are bigoted people who are inclusive of everyone. Let's see. P.S. Meltzer says Darth Maul looks so menacing. Yes, I agree. Which was the biggest problem with why they killed him off was just not smart. But anyway, Zach Hawkins, Dark Empire, published by Dark Horse Comics, I think was fantastic. Luke goes dark side and all hell breaks loose. I suggest picking it up. Yeah, so those want to have a good Star Wars story that doesn't make you want to weep. Look up Dark Empire by Dark Horse. Dark Horse did great runs on Star Wars stories. Zach Hawkins, it is now that you're here, buddy. Oh, I got okay. Nasser the Body says, so this is where all the bigots hang out these days. And then Zach Hawkins says, it is now that you're here, buddy. With a laughy face. Yeah, he brought it. Zach Hawkins brought it. Kick Nasser, as they say. Kidding, Nasser. Thank you for showing up. Flit Amaranth. Yo, Nasser's in the chat. Yep. Zach, how's your night, Nasser? I'm just now. This is getting. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Everybody else, they're just talking amongst each other. Go talk amongst each other. 9 people watching now. 9 likes. Thank you for the extra like. If that was Nasser who liked, thank you, Nasser. Going back to the panel.
You can actually see who likes.
You can?
I thought you were saying that you could.
I assumed that since he was the last person to show up in the chat, that he might have been the person who liked. I'm making an assumption. You know what happens when you do that, but I didn't do that. So looking at here, let's go back and look at Manny's. That's a very fierce look on that saber-tooth tiger or very large bobcat.
Saber-tooth.
I dare you to give me pants. Is that what it says?
They want to put pants in
I
my.
dare say, give me my pants.
Yeah.
So she stole his pants? That's terrible.
Pretty much. I mean, it's like the one. Well, yeah. I mean, good grief, he probably hung his laundry out on a tree somewhere, or decided to go skinny dipping, and one side decided to say, play with me," and the other side ran off with his clothes.
Oh, a cheeky monkey. And then we have that beautiful feathered headdress that Illustrator Monk is doing, and with her voluptuous shape. Illustrator Monk loves the voluptuous ladies. He loves the wide hips, which which most people do. Josh is moving forward. This is a very grim-looking young lady, and she's given either that's a come hither stare, or she's saying, "I want you to wash my panties. Could you do that for me?"
Oh, that's definitely a come hither stare. trying to go for like a little bit of a Umberto Ramos kind of style.
Okay, all right then.
I used to try to emulate his art a lot back in my high school days. He was one of my favorites.
Umberto Ramos. Umberto Ramos. Back to the chat once again. What do we have going on? Yep. PS Mentor says, "Don't kick Nasser. Back Nasser." Wow, that's an endorsement. Back Trixie or Brutus. Yeah, go out and do that right now. Exact change only. I was a fan of General Grievous design and concept as a Jedi killer, but I don't like him as a character. Yeah, I have to agree. And the cyborg idea is kind of cool. I like that, but like the whole coughing of the cyborg, I never got. How does a cyborg have black lung? Just I don't know.
But also, how is black lung and like
I guess they probably
asthma
should have put that in his backstory or something.
Did they?
No, I don't think they did.
Because they never explain why he like had a smoker's cough, but he was this killer cyborg. It just, to me, strange things like that don't make any sense unless you put in like a throwaway line that kind of explains it. And it doesn't have to be much. It just has to be this little thing, little thing in the bottom of some thing that explains it, at least in a peripheral sense. And there's a lot of characters like that don't really make a whole lot of sense in the prequels. One of the weird things that, I mean, everybody knows Jar Jar Binks, and I don't have a problem with the Gungans per se, because I see like humans as as they spread out across the galaxy, so that's why you see a lot of humans. And so I would think that the Gungans are the original natives of Naboo, and so you would want one of them along, because there's maybe they don't have a friendly relationship, but they kind of get along. With the human inhabitants of the surface, but the picking of that character of Jar Jar as a character to focus on as basically the replacement for Han Solo, if you look at it kind of in a way to the original.
Like if you line up the archetypes and stuff.
Yeah, you line up the architects. You institute a fool for kind of a trickster, a fool or kind of offhand trickster character for the rogue, and it just doesn't work. The cohesion doesn't work because
No, it doesn't work.
and if they'd put in somebody a little bit more like a noble noble tragic hero, say, do you remember the Gungan that had kind of the mustache thing that was hanging off his?
Yeah, I like him better.
He was like a general. Now, if you had made him like a dissident from Boss Nass or something like that, and then he's your helper, he's kind of like sly and kind of funny, but like he's also brings a lot to the table other than just ass hattery. I think it would have been much better, especially if he was the one later on to like marshal the Gungan troops against the invading toy soldiers, which is another thing I had a problem with, is that the investiture, they were trying to pander, Lucas was trying to pander so much to children that the investiture that you had between basically cartoon characters through that war really didn't affect me all that much. I wasn't really, I didn't feel it as much as I should have, at least back then, and I still don't upon rewatching. I've often had a problem with using droids as your it's the same thing today. Like when we kill with the drone, a lot of people think that's kind of unsportsmanlike. And
I would say so.
and there's a lot a credence to that, but I understand why militaries would do so. However, if you're going to do that, you don't make the drones freaking idiots, because that's what happened. They just made them stupid idiots. Well, why would you make your drones stupid idiots? You would make them as intimidating and terrible as possible. Why wouldn't you have them all be those rolling ball killers as opposed to those anthropomorphic skinny
Also, those rolling ball killers.
I honestly thought they'd have been just the thing you sent in before you sent in the tanks.
What was that? I got two people talking over
the droids were what you sent in before you sent in the tanks.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like there have been so much cooler ways, and he did come up with a cooler droid to like fight with. Those rolling ones that fight Jedi, why would you just have all these, throwaway? Why would you throw away droids that just are easily killed? I would have mass produced, the badass droids. Those are the type of things I would have changed. Anyway,
the thing about me is that the badass droids were just way too overpowered too.
Yeah,
like,
and that's
unless you are a Jedi, like you can't go up against even like one or two of those things. Like
yeah, well, and that's the thing. What you would tone them down just a little bit. Like they can take a few hits before they, their shields crumple.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So they have limitations but they're also tougher. And then if they were smarter, they would use those shields. They'd have a modulating to the shields, because they knew that, if they're fighting with directed energy weapons, then they'd put them to the front, but then they could be attacked from the back, or that sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's not just one big ball that makes them completely impervious. But if they do go completely impervious, that's gonna lessen their shield power, and then multiple strikes, say 10 strikes or whatever, then it's gone. And then they're at their, they have to have their own programming that makes them dangerous. I would have made it much more, and then you could have them switch. You can do a little bit of transformer stuff, so they roll around, but then they can like go and stand up, or something like that, which would be much more interesting. Again, I'm armchair quarterbacking like 20 years later, but I'm armchair quarterbacking everything I see these days, and it just makes me sad and tired, because I know if I have good ideas, I know other people have great ideas, and then you go online and you look on, people who come up with stories for things, and there's thousands of really good ideas that people are just ignoring because of whatever reason.
Thousands of fabulous stories, like Help Becky Smash.
Yes, like Help Becky Smash, or Little Girl Lethal, or Trixie Blood Reaper. That
Trixie Kane Blood Reaper.
Trixie Kane Blood Reaper. Apologies. All right, all right. Well, let's look at the chat. I've been talking for quite a while about nonsense that I can't do anything about. Okay, where are we? Nasser says Illustrator Monk. I love you, Illustrator Monk. He loves you. Nasser loves you, Illustrator Monk.
I did do a short comic with him, so maybe that's why.
Oh, that would be it, probably. P.S. Melter, when they did Force Awakens, the Star Killer idea was cool, and the Blind Jedi with the weird double saber too. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have him be the trainer dude.
Well, there's a lot of things that they could have done differently with those movies. I mean, I could discuss them at leisure, but I mean, we all know what half the problems are. So, Zach Hawkins, Grievous coughed because of all the Jedi he smoked. I'll be here all night. Zach. Trusty sidekick. Misa like this. Not sure body. Notice me, Illustrator Monk. Notice me. He's waving his arms and gyrating his pelvis. Notice Nasser body. Trusty sidekick. Captain Tarpies? What the fuck? Tarples. Who is that?
That's the
guy with the mustache?
the Gungan leader guy. Yeah.
Captain Tarples. I'll have to remember that because I like that dude. I wish he had been on the adventure and not Jar Jar, but it is what it is. Lorenzo Sleestack makes his entrance. Hail Raven. 13 people watching now, 10 people like. Thank you very much. Exact change only. It's kind of ironic that civilization was more civilized when nations shot at each other on the field as opposed to drones and politics. It is interesting, yes. Very interesting. Trusty sidekick. Nope. Sorry, Lorenzo. Hail Power Girl. All right. There's definitely a rivalry, a duel happening on in the chat, and yeah. Okay.
Oh, hail Squirrel Girl.
Hail Squirrel Girl. Hail Skunk Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl. Ew.
That's right. She is so fine.
Flit
Squirrel
Amaranth.
Girl.
Can't do anything. Flit Amaranth can't do anything about Hollywood nonsense, but you can pick up a great book, Little Girl Lethal. Get it here. Indiegogo in demand right now. Yes, indeed. Flit Amaranth, I think one of these days he needs to write his own comic book. He has a way with words, and I appreciate that. Lorenzo Sleestack, his message has been retracted. I don't know what he said. So, yeah. Lorenzo, were you a bad boy, or did you retract your own message?
Well, speaking of in demand, Juanpool is also still in demand for 2 more weeks until we shut it down.
Juanpool!
Only 2 more.
Melter says, Force Unleashed. I said the wrong one. Unleashed was great in between 3 and 4. Great video game. I'll take your word for it, Melter, because I wouldn't know. Flit Amaranth, however, after you says, and after you get Little Girl Lethal, check out Trixie Kane, Blood Reaper by the legendary one and only, the man who has a squeaky chair, Nasser Rabadi. Lorenzo Sleestack.
Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
I need to cut out now.
Well, let's look at what you have before you go. Let's look at what you have. It looks great. Would you mind finishing it later and posting it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll finish it. I just need to drive my son home. So
I understand. Family always comes first, and I appreciate you showing up, man.
all right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Take care,
Thanks
my
for
brother.
having me on.
Bye bye.
Let's see.
That was good. It's really beautiful what he did, though. I can see the cat coming out. It's going to be very much like a Frazetta piece when he's done. I can tell. And we'll miss Illustrator Monk, but family does come first. All right. Where was I? Lorenzo Sleestack. I thought Trusty said Power Girl, but he said Girl Power, but he said Power Girl. Oh yeah, I get that. I understand that. Yeah. Flit Amaranth, Juanpool, you say. Still
Indeed.
in demand, you say.
Indeed,
It's true. Get it here. I would like to thank Flit Amaranth, who comes on, who's been faithfully coming on the streams and helping with moderation. It is always nice to have him around. he does have a way with words, and I really appreciate what he does in helping us out here on the Cheesecake Challenge. Here on Slick Jimmy Speaks, Trusty Sidekick. Okay. Okay. You confused me, Lorenzo. Yep. Yeah. Lorenzo does that quite a bit. He's very confusing. All right. Let's go back to the panel. We're down to three challengers. I'm glad that you're around. I'm glad that you came in. You made the day better by being here. And we love having artists come in and showing us their skills, and it's really nice. I appreciate that.
Very nice.
Manny is he's getting pretty much his inking done. Are you gonna put some color in there? Or are you just
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
keep
gonna
it?
try to put some color in there too.
That would be nice. I do like the saber-tooth tiger. It is not a large bobcat. It is a saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah.
And this does have a Frazetta feel all over it.
Well, I love Frazetta.
Do we have an adventurer in the background going to show up, or is that going to leave that element out?
An adventure in the background. I'm trying to do this first.
All right. Well, if you get a chance, she is and then she is a headhunter. Just a reminder, she's a headhunter. She takes some heads, names.
All right. We'll put some heads in there.
So skulls, shrunken heads hanging off that little thing from between her brassiere, something. Got to let people know that this is not a girl to be messed with, even though she has a pet, saber-tooth tiger. Rumble. She's did I say Rumble? Humble Marty is doing a very cute little pixie-like character or elf. She's probably making cookies in a tree when she's not leading people astray. It's very cute. And back to Josh, the amazing animator.
Howdy.
We have a is this a Native American, or what are we looking at here?
That's a native girl. Yeah, Native American.
Native girl. She's got some fringe, some chamois looking buckskin on, which everybody likes, and a very brief loincloth, which I really enjoy.
Indeed.
People might call me a pervert, but I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. Not by a long shot. I didn't know what kind of native we were going for, so I just picked one.
Like I said, you can pick anybody. I mean, in our countries here in North America, we pick a native, and then somehow, some way, we turn into the white devil colonizer. Blah 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 blah.
Oh,
although we do.
I'd like to colonize that ass.
Yeah, that's right. There's a reason why I have a little bit of native blood from 3 tribes flowing in my body, because we appreciated the Native Americans, at least somehow.
Yeah, I think I've got like some in my family. Like I don't think in my direct family though.
I think
an uncle or an aunt or something who has.
Yeah, I think the strain in you is very thin, because you're about as
Hugh White.
Nordic as they come. I would use Aryan, but that would be insulting. But you are Nordic.
Oh, you can always just do the Who White male.
Who White?
I don't mind. I'm not ashamed of it.
Lorenzo C. Sleestack says, I was going to say that Raven already had girl power. Yeah, sure. Everybody knows that, sadly, for the Raven fans, that I am a Firestar fan. If I was going to choose, I would go with Firestar. And it has to do with her early apparel and that luxurious hair that she has. So I'm sorry, Raven fans.
The golden skin.
Yes, golden skin and those glowing green eyes. Yeah, that starts it off.
It does it for me too.
And I know that might drive some people away out of the chat because of that preference, but it is what it is. I mean, what do I say? I mean, if you're gonna pick, you got to pick the exotic, baby. That's all I got to say, and not the goth girl.
Yeah, we've all dated those in high school. They don't go
Yeah,
well.
goth girls. I mean, they weigh on you after a little while. It's a never ending.
Is that a fat joke?
It may be depending on the goth girl. You know, I've seen some very fit goth girls, probably because they smoke way too much. But yeah, it's like walking into a hot topic constantly. You just never can get away with it. Get away from it. P.S. Melter, it looks good, Manny. He's giving you some props there, Manny. Also, KG. KG says, nice, Manny. And Trusty Sidekick says, KG. I'm not sure who KG or Trusty Sidekick are, but I'm glad that they are in the chat and hanging out with us. We have 11 people watching currently with 12 likes. Thank you very much for keeping with us, watching the art continue to evolve on the page. Some old middle said, what?
KG is my moderator.
Oh, nice to have you here, man.
Yeah, he's my
Appreciate
mighty wrench. Yeah.
Nice.
And then Trusty Sidekick usually appears on my show. We draw together. He's a fantastic artist. He should be up here.
Well, KG, if you want to be put in the chat, just give me a heads up in the chat, or you can DM me and I will put you in there. We always want another great artist if you have the time. Some old metalhead says, nice, Josh. He's giving you props, Josh.
Thanks, man.
Lorenzo Fleestack says, Starfire put a hole in the ozone layer with her hairspray. That is very possible, but I don't think that she actually needs hairsprays. It's just naturally that voluminous. It just is that what it is. I don't think she even needs any makeup because she is, Firestar. Goth girl. This is P.S. Melter says goth girls are heavenly. Before they put you into hell. Yeah. 12 watching currently. 13 people have liked. What did you want to say, Manny?
Are you talking from experience with these goth girls?
One experience. And that was enough. I'm not saying that they're all that. There are exceptions to the rule, as it were. But my experience was not as optimal as I would have liked. KG, sorry, Slick Jimmy, but I am not an artist yet. Very untalented. Well, I think that your friend Manny begs to differ.
He's a moderator. Trusty Sidekick is the artist.
Oh, well, I made a mistake. It happens when you get old and decrepit like myself. Trusty Sidekick, if you would like to be in the chat, that would be the Cheesecake chat. Just give me a heads up. Sorry, KG, I apologize. I didn't mean to call you out and make you feel foolish. I think you're awesome for moderating for Manny, which is, I'm sure, a very hard job at times with all the crazy yahoos that are on there.
He does a really great job.
I understand having a good mod. I mean, if he's good like Flit Amaran, I'm very pleased. Because Flit comes on here and he does a great job. Let's see right here. We've got some old metalhead, Milter, but metal chicks are hellacious. I have to say that metal chicks are a lot of fun. As long as they're not crazy, they're lots of fun.
I think that's true of pretty much all women.
But I mean, like metal chicks are usually up for just about anything, which isn't always the case with other subsets of femininity. Metal girls are kind of like biker chicks. They're ready to roll. Lorenzo C. Sleestack. I think Slick Jimmy would enjoy a good dog press. Sure. I'm looking forward to their productions. So yeah, indeed. I like Manny. He's a good man.
I actually put up a video today on my website. I mean, my YouTube channel. I have Skunk Girl dancing to Fortnite moves. It's an animation. So she does.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Moves like Jagger or whatever. I don't know.
Dancing to Fortnite lewds?
Yeah. She just dancing just like Fortnite. Whatever they are, the characters. So she's dancing. Yeah.
So Lorenzo Sleestack says of the Good Dog Press, stream, KG always puts the links in the chat and takes care of the riffraff. Yeah, nice.
Yes, he does.
Does he kick him out, or does he?
Yes, if I give him the heads up, he will kick people. He has done it before. There have been riffraffs before. Yeah.
I haven't had too many people that came in here and caused too much trouble. Luckily, but I don't have a ton of people that come in. But the people who do come in are quality, so I'm happy about that. Going back to the panel, see where we come to. Oh, I was stuck on Josh. I white boxed Josh. Apologies to those in the chat, but they got to see him put in the braids, and yeah, it's fun stuff.
What do you mean sorry? They should
Well,
be,
you know, people want to see what other people are doing as they talk. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad to see your work, solo, but I mean, come on.
Although I
share the
guess,
love is what I'm saying.
I guess I could understand to some degree, considering I wasn't focused up on the naughty bits.
That's right. Are you going to put some toe in there, or what are we talking about?
Toe?
You know.
It's cut off right here.
Oh, toe. Finally, the realization comes in.
Well, I've been hanging out with, Troy a lot, so,
Well, Troy should be even more. He's a wild man. It's crazy.
And he certainly likes the other types of toe,
Yeah, he loves the toe. The actual toe. Toes. It's not my thing, but I'm glad he's happy. So there we go.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that.
Humble Marty.
I quite like them too. Not as much as him, but certainly.
I don't have any affinity, yay or nay. I'm fully down to rub some lady's foot, or a man's foot if he needs it. I don't find it a sexual act. I just find it something that's nice to do. If it turns into a more affectionate encounter, then yeah, that's fine. But it doesn't do anything for me. I don't look at feet and go, oh yeah, oh good God. I don't have that. Doesn't do me. Oh look, Marty's.
Just haven't found the right one.
Our young elf looks like a drow. I think our young elf is going to be a drow.
Yep.
So there you go. Nice. Lots of stuff going on in this thing here, Marty, and I'm waiting for it to gel into resolution. So I'm sure it's coming. Just to let you guys know, we do have about 43 minutes approximately. So that's your time frame. We got Manny putting in some contouring. I love the contours. They're always welcome on an image instead of just flats. So we know how the girl looks, and yeah, we like that. We like this. We like the contours. Going back to Josh, that young girl looks. I don't know if that's come hither, Josh. That looks more like I'm going to make your scrotum into a coin purse. That's more what I'm seeing there.
Well, it looks more come hither once you see what she's doing.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying. Close up, I'm like, see you later. You're scaring the shit out of me. That's all I'm saying. Going back to the chat. Where are we at? All right. 1 second. Got to scroll up the chat a little bit. Some people have been talking. I think Slick Jimmy would enjoy a good dog press. That's okay. Unbreathable Skunk Girl. Ooh, and the Unbreathable Skunk Girl has shown up in the chat. Did you know that, Manny?
Oh, hi, honey.
Oh, there you go. LOL. That's why Good Dog married me. Metal chick. Oh, now we know. Now we know what hooked the Manny.
Yeah, ask her what the hell, damn it, what band we were listening to that hooked me to her. See if she remembers.
I think the question has been asked. What band were you guys listening to, or whatever, when everything went down? You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
What made me fall in love with you? What band were you listening to, honey?
And that usually comes at a certain point in the relationship. What
Uh-oh.
is your song, you know?
Well, she better know because I took her to the concert. I took her to the concert after.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Trusty sidekick. Thanks, Jimmy. I will definitely join soon. Thank you. I will look forward to your request and then we'll get you in there. KG, hello, Skunk Girl. Hail, Skunk Girl. Yes, hail. Hail, all hail. For some reason, the hail thing has been tainted for me. I don't know why. It's strange. But anyway, Lorenzo Sleestack. Aloha. I like that greeting much better. Aloha, Skunk Girl. Yeah. Unbreathable Skunk Girl. Aloha, KG and Lorenzo. Good to see you too. Trusty Sidekick. Hello there, Skunk Girl. Oh, I think you got competition there, Manny.
Competition I got is from Mighty Geek Studios.
From Mighty Geek.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, what's up there, Skunk Girl? Oh,
Yeah.
you're smelling pretty good tonight.
Oh.
Lorenzo Sleestack. I thought we were talking about the type of toes that camels have. Yeah, in a roundabout way. Unbreathable Skunk Girl. Howdy, Trusty. Unbreathable Skunk Girl. Once again, oh my lord, Lorenzo. Unbreathable Skunk Girl. Once again, are you a blonde? Who are we talking to? I'm not sure. Lorenzo. And then Unbreathable Skunk Girl answers the question as to what group they were going to see, and it was that guy those guys that show Eddie off a lot. Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden.
Yes, it was.
Hail Iron Maiden. Oh boy. Aloha Iron Maiden. That's what I have to say. Aloha.
Aloha, that's Samoan.
Yeah, Samoan. No doubt.
Samoan.
I let the grind man go up there.
I love samosas.
Samosas and Samoans are not the same thing. You have a samosa the size of a Samoan, you're gonna drown. I'm just saying.
Sorry.
That's all right. You're allowed to laugh on the panel. 12 watching now. 15 have liked. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Iron Manny. That's what Lorenzo Sleestack says. Iron Manny. That's why he got picked by his lady, because he is the Iron Manny. Going back to the panel, got three great artists here. For those of you who have just come in or are still with us or are subsequently listening to our broadcast, usually we have a little bit more, but tonight we are limited. I think that the change in time and day has, and possibly the Game of Thrones finale has influenced how many people have showed up, or maybe it's just not the greatest of times. We'll figure that out. Let's look at what Manny from Good Dog Press is doing. He's really making some contours now. That's my favorite. I love it. I love that part of the anatomy too, right there. Oomph. Goodness gracious. The belly, everyone, the belly. Everybody focuses.
I get my mom's calling me for something.
Oh, you're leaving?
I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. I hope Humble Marty
Sorry,
is.
she said never mind.
Okay. I'm just want to check, Humble. You are of age. I'm just making sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure, because we talk about some things in here, and I would be remiss if I allowed that to happen with minors.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I am definitely the mature audience.
All right, good. Sometimes I get a little nervous. It makes me nervous, especially in this day and age where people flip the freak out over little stuff, or things that you didn't know. You should have checked, for God's sakes. What's wrong with you? I do see the head. The head has been added to Manny's picture, and so that was an unfortunate event for that person. And we're moving on to the Dro with Humble Marty. It is definitely a Dro. That is a dark elf. You will not see her coming in the night.
Nope. You definitely won't.
Sneak up on you and do terrible things as the Dro do. What are you doing there in the background there, Josh?
Just putting some trees and shit.
trees, just a
Water.
pretty little tree here. Yeah, just
Happy little trees.
a little tree.
Some water,
Some water.
all kind of sepia tones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I've never been able to do the Bob Ross voice, but I do remember watching him as a kid, being fascinated how and this is strange. As a child, I would watch that over a lot of other things. I'd watch Bob Ross make a painting just appear out of nowhere, which always did fascinate me. And I tried to like emulate that, but I don't think I have the. I was kind of ADD, so I didn't really have the patience for it.
Mm.
I get bored, and it does take a little bit of, it takes 10,000 hours to get to where you can perform in that regard, and just kind of pull things out of your butt and make them look beautiful after you've slapped them on the page on the canvas or the
Yeah,
page.
most people never stop learning or pulling stuff, or not. Like they never really get to that point where they do actually pull stuff out of their butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
almost everybody will use reference till the
sure.
day they die. I certainly do.
Now, like I was talking earlier about Frazetta, and he said he didn't ever use reference, but he was also a big camera buff. Sadly, at one point in his life, he had a fire in his camera. He had a camera like a little lodge for his cameras, and it burned down. So he lost all of his camera stuff later in his life. But he did use cameras, but he said that he never he would take pictures, but then they kind of stayed in his head. So he might have had a little bit of photographic memory that way. But most people use reference, and I totally get that, because I've tried to do things freehand out of my brain, and then I look at it and like, oh, everything's all off ski wampus and off kilter, and then I get like a reference, and I often can do things pretty well with a reference. Now, I mean, I'm not awesome, but you've seen my art. It's not terrible. It's just it is what it is, right?
Well, you can see mine. Like it's starting to look like what I want it to look like, right?
Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but as you get better, I mean, I have a friend who worked in the movie industry for a long time, and he can sit down at a desk and basically come up with a really quite good anatomical sketch within about 15 minutes, and it looks really quite good. And he can do it with pen, which is pretty impressive. But he's been doing this stuff now for 40 years. That's his bread and butter. So,
Yep.
Yeah, if you guys ever see the name Clark Schaefer on any movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's see, I'm going to go back to the chat, see if they've added anything to the conversation. Lorenzo Sleesek says Manny invented time. Did you invent time, Manny?
They're going back to that? Please. I don't think so, Lorenzo.
Are you the master of time?
Well, I draw pretty fast, but I'm not the master of time, that's for sure.
Somebody has a dog who's telling the business.
Yeah, I think that would be my dog. Someone decided to shoot fireworks.
Those bastards. What are they celebrating?
I don't know.
So the other day, I didn't know what day it was or why, but somebody started shooting off fireworks here in my town, and it was a full fireworks display. So I go outside and I'm looking at it, and it turns out they had shifted this festival we had normally a month early, and yeah, it's just a bunch of crazy fireworks that I didn't expect. Lighting them for May. Some old metalhead, Iron and Metal Maiden chick, Hail Iron Maiden, yeah, Iron Metal Maiden chick. That's a new comic book right there.
It's a tongue twister.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered, with the Riri Williams, why they didn't call her Iron Maiden, because that would have made so much sense. It would have been cool. But I mean,
that's why they didn't name her that.
I think
Well, they didn't name her that because they probably thought oh, maiden. That's so patriarchal. to call a
I'm-
woman a
I'm
man.
I'm pretty
Shit.
sure DC Comics got the rights to that right now.
Well, it could be they could do Iron Maid, you
Yeah.
know, and then, like say and like Iron Maid that sounds pretty damn cool. Iron Maid, and it
Put
has a double
yourself in
entendre.
the put yourself
Mhm.
in the SJW mindset, and that won't fly for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she has to be. They have to get upset about her being sexualized, but she can't be. She can't be thought of as being a virgin. Therefore, it's kind of weird double entendre.
Hmm.
Even though she is 15, and she probably, if things were optimal, she should be a virgin, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, Anyway,
In this day and age,
yeah, I know. Okay, I'm just need to looking at the chat one more time. What about man? Is Flit Amaranth? What about Manny? Is he of age or just been around for an age? Oh, as a diss.
Well, I'm drawing. I'm not even reading the chat. It doesn't affect me.
Flit Amaranth says to me, and he's asking for trouble here. Show your art, Jimmy. Do it. Maybe one of these days, if nobody shows up, at all, I'll just get out the finger paints, and you guys will be eminently entertained. P.S. Melter, Jimmy, only finger paints. Oh, P.S. Melter, I was ahead of you on the ladies. Oh, yes.
I'll be
indeed.
back.
Where are you going, man? Gonna see a man about a horse. Yes, I've finger painted on the ladies on occasion. Flit Amaranth. Oh my lord. Yeah, it's getting hot in there. It's all steamy and sultry. Lorenzo Sleestack, Iron Maiden are skilled musicians. I particularly enjoyed it when Bruce Dickinson was their singer. He's a skilled singer, indeed. Some old metalhead, Lorenzo, gives the metal hand signal. That's right. Lorenzo Sleestack, Iron Maiden is truly one of the best metal bands ever. I do like Iron Maiden. I tend to go towards more like rhythm and blues, like rock, old style rock and roll, blues, and then like hard rock, like say like AC/DC. Those are my chosen genres for the most part, but I do enjoy most music, with the exception of some electronica that makes my head hurt. It sounds like I'm basically living in a video game, and I'm just kind of tired of that. Or certain types of really nasally Western, not Western, like country music. I don't like it when people sing through their nose. So, yeah. Now you know more about Jimmy.
Cool.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, cool, whatever. Just random trivia about Jim, which you should put in the memory hole as quickly as you can. P.S. Melter says, I called it, haha. Rap metal, though. Rap metal? Okay.
I could see it working. Not very often, but it's possible.
Like the bodies hit the floor.
Is that would that be considered that?
I don't know. Kind of sounds mentally rap. Let the bodies hit the floor. Lorenzo Sleestack, E. Ortiz invented a lot of the Manny lore. Manny slightly older than E. Are you slightly older than E, Manny?
Yeah, I think I'm a few years older than he is.
All right.
Yeah.
KG says, but I am older than Manny Lorenzo. So, KG is older than Manny. How old are you, Manny?
I am old enough.
Are you in your 50s?
Yes, sir.
So you're probably older than me. I just hit my 50s just recently. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. 10 people watching now currently and 15 likes. Thank you very much for coming out, y'all stalwarts that are hanging out in the chat. And thank you very much for the panel, those that have come, and even the one that has gone. I appreciate what you've done to help me make this a good good stream and show your wares and your skills and your talents. We're looking at Manny right now. He's added lots of contour, not only to the young lady there, but to the feline that is her either partner or pet. We'll never know.
No, you actually will know because this will come out on Indiegogo later this year.
Oh, what's this character?
This is Cinta, the prehistoric princess.
Oh, well, damn! I think I might have to pick this up.
Yeah, so here's the. I actually printed this stuff up already. Darn it! There goes my computer freezing.
It must be cold there in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's freezing. So
Well, we're going to go over and look at Humbles. Okay, you're bringing that in. Let's see.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
It is. You're on issue 3.
Yeah, already. I did 3 issues. I actually printed them up myself too last year, so it's ready to go on Indiegogo. Whenever I'm gonna make a collection of 1, 2, and 3 all together. Yeah. So that's already 60 plus pages already done.
Is that one story?
Oh, it's a story arc. It's how she gets to the island, how she gets her costume, and then how she gets the saber-tooth tiger. 3 stories.
So how does she get her costume? Just finds a little bit of scraps of fur and sticks it on.
She kills a little panther.
Oh, poor little panther.
Yeah.
She kills a kitten panther to make her outfit, because that's about all the fur you're gonna get there.
You can actually go to gooddogpress.net, and I have the first 7 pages of all 3 issues there. So
does she use magic to keep that the outfit on? Because it looks like it.
Very magical. I mean, when I first did the first painting of this character back 20 years ago, her costume was really skimpy. But I had to give a little bit more bikini top to her so kids can read the book, you know.
Yeah, the dog is barking at the cat currently.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there.
Yep.
I read plenty of comics when I was a little kid with skimpy ladies. Vampirella.
Right. So.
Well, I mean, it is currently a fairly skimpy outfit, bud. I'm just saying.
It used to be a lot more skimpy.
Well, how much are we talking? Like a string through the labia skimpy and like just pasties, or what are we talking about here? Because that's pretty skimpy.
Yeah, you could actually see areolas. Yeah.
Oh, well, that is skimpy. I mean,
yeah.
You can save that for another time. Areolas shouldn't be anathema to a comic book, in my opinion. Neither should a labia or a guy's junk if you need it. I'm not against nudity if it's done properly. And people say some people would say that nudity is always gratuitous, and I say that's bullshit. I think,
always gratuitous? Like
I've had that. I live in Mormondom, and so I've heard that several times. That nudity is always gratuitous. When I'm like, what do you guys turn off the lights and put holes through the sheets in the bed, and that's how you make babies? That's not always gratuitous. I'm just saying.
Like, no matter the context.
Yeah, that some people have said stuff like that, and I'm firmly of no. There's pornography, and then there is not pornography, and then there is just plain beautiful art and celebration of the human form, both male and female. And so, yeah, it's not necessarily, and sometimes you don't necessarily have to have it, and I still think it's deemed fine to have it in there. You know what I mean? So totally. There we go. People have different beliefs about certain things, and I get that, and I respect that. But you don't have to read a person's book. But if you feel like you want to add some naughty bits, quote unquote, I don't think you should feel restricted by that necessarily, unless you're going for a 4-quadrant book. Then yeah, you got to be a little bit careful.
4-quadrant?
4-quadrant, the 4 demographics. You got basically people of minor, male and female, and then basically minors, and then people who are old enough to do it. That's the 4 quadrants. And you know, 4 quadrants, they're different demographical breakdowns and so forth. But I mean, those are the big ones: male, female, and then old and young. And old is very broad, because once you hit a mature age, you're mature for your entire life, unless you go senile, and then that's different. All right, back to the chat. Back to the chat. Oh, chat! Don't you love the dogs barking? Ooh, let the dogs out.
You know.
Okay, I gotta find the spot where we left off. Jimmy did it all for the Nookie. Yeah, the Nookie. So Jimmy got to take that cookie. Stick. What? Stick up the Okay. Yeah.
Stick it in your Stick it in the
Yeah, I know the song. I understand. I remember Fred Durst, and I've tried to forget Fred, but you know, it's hard.
Come on.
And then KG goes, "Do it, Jimmy." And he's taught. I suppose that's me having some art. I don't want you guys to be so disappointed in me that you sit there and cry in your milk, because it could be like it could be if I showed you my art, like watching The Last Jedi, and you never recover. Sorry. Get Cinta. What's Cinta?
Cinta.
Is that your dog? Kill the kitty, says P.S. Melter. It's awesome. Manny showed me the work. Oh boy. He's shilling for you there, buddy. Shilling hard. Lorenzo Sleestack, I think that's part of the joke. KG is none of you guys are what? KG's none of you guys are that old. Your syntax is a little weird there, Lorenzo. It's all right. Okay, and KG says me, you, yeah, you. Okay. Trusty sidekick. Manny was a bad dog back then. A bad dog.
Oh man.
I'm saying, do it. Get Cinta when it comes out on Indiegogo. Oh, I see. He wants me to do it, to buy Cinta. It's Cinta, right? That's how you say it.
Cinta, yes.
Cinta. All right. I'm doing it kind of Spanish, kind of Latinized. Cinta. Ooh. She's so caliente. Melter says, "Would someone shut that up that turkey? Turkey. All right.
Which one?
Oh, never mind. It's shut up now. I think it's that turkey that walks like a dog. But I could be wrong. He's giving you the business there, man, Marty.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You're fine. Back to the panel. We have about 12. Excuse me. 17 minutes. 17 minutes. Back to the panel. Oh, we got a sepia tone with Josh.
Indeed, we do.
Looking good. She's very intent. She's intent on somebody. She's supposed to be getting that head, if you know what I mean.
Okay. You can do that too. I mean, why just pick one?
Well, you know, you can get both, I suppose.
She's a multitasker.
Yeah. We got Cinta here with her. What's the name of her saber-tooth tiger? Does he have a name?
Saber-tooth tiger is Mac.
Mac?
Yes, Mac.
Mac the saber-tooth tiger.
Well, the reason why is because I named her after my niece, and I named the saber-tooth tiger after my son.
Oh, okay. Right on then.
Okay.
We got them kind of relaxing in the grass there with a spear and a unfortunate head. Is that the adventurer that didn't make it?
I guess I'm still working at it.
So sad. So sad for that guy. But she needed dinner, and so did Mac. So things had to be done. That's how it goes. What is it? What time is this? Prehistoric time, or what are we looking at?
Well, we're actually talking about today. So what happens is she actually goes up in an airplane, and her boyfriend gets marooned on a mysterious island, and there's all kinds of prehistoric creatures there. So that's where. So it's modern day. It's
It's contemporary, is what you're saying.
yeah,
Right.
but it's all the. I don't like dinosaurs. I like more of the Ice Age animals.
You
That's why
bite.
Yeah, you mean like megafauna? That's what they call them.
yeah. So there's all kinds of. I mean, whatever you can think of that I put in there. There's terror birds. There's mammoths, saber-tooth tigers, the bears, everything.
Cave bears. They had cave lions too that were actually much bigger than saber-tooth tigers. Largest feline that we've ever found bones on. Cave lion. So yeah, giant sloth, big woolly rhinos.
All that's in there. And the most interesting part about this book, there's no dialogue.
No
Only
dialogue.
no dialogue, just pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now my question is, if it is contemporary, what happened to her original clothes? Did they get blown off by the crash?
Well, you gotta get the book. Well, I mean, the clothes is only going to last for so long.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she was just in just a little sundress in the beginning with a little pair of panties that just didn't make it.
Well, there's a lot of panty shots. Yes, I'll give you that. Yes.
It's too bad.
Or dog chewed a hole through her pants.
That's quite the fetish right there, I have to say.
Wait a minute, that's a fetish?
You just coined it for me, so.
Huh.
My dog has never actually chewed through my underwear, which would be interesting. It'd be very surprising.
Really?
Slightly disconcerting, I think.
It does. It gets very expensive very fast.
Oh, well, you speak from experience.
Well, let's just say I had a favorite pair of pants that ended up getting turned into assless chaps. I go to hang them up on the line, and I can see my dog's face through the hole.
Hmm.
And like,
I think he has a crush on you.
I don't love leaving my clothes out.
Got to leave it higher. Put it up.
Yeah.
Put the clothesline higher. Unless he's a German Shepherd. Unless he's a German Shepherd, and then he will jump on it and just take it out of the air because they jump really high. All right. Let's look at Marty's. You got a little guy running there. He wants his pants back. Apparently she's a pants dro fairy that they steal pants like gnomes. Like the underpants gnomes, only they're dro and steal pants. And then we got this young native girl who looks very intent. Like she's like, look what I have here. I got something to show you.
Hey there,
All right.
sailor.
Hey there, Mr. We got Lewis and Clark. Okay, let's go back to the chat. We got 11 watching, 15 of likes. So we lost one person, but we do appreciate 11 that are here. I guess Nasser dropped. Probably it's just too much. He's for his attention span. But we love Master. Thanks for showing up.
Too much for his delicate sensibilities.
Yeah, it's delicate sensibilities. It's there's too much nookie in the cookie and all that business. Anyway. Okay. What? Okay. Now Lorenzo Sleestack has put a turkey in the chat, as well as Flit Emrat. So there's turkeys in chat, but the turkey is quiet now. No more gobbling. P.S. Melter has put multiple emojis: dog, men's, thumbs down. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. he's speaking in uh, basically hieroglyphs at that point. Lorenzo Sleestack, I want to buy Manny's sexy picture book. Ooh. And P.S. Menther, his message has been retracted. He must have put some very, very naughty emojis in there. And I do not, I disavow the naughty emoji. Actually, I don't. You should have left him in there, whoever took it out. Just saying. Words just get in the way. This is true. Except I, as a wordsmith and an ink slinger, I love the words. But, Manny may not love the words as much as I do, and so he relies on the image to tell the story, which may or may not be to his advantage or disadvantage, depending on the situation. However,
Well,
I will trust that he knows what he's doing, and we
I
will look
wanted
at
to make a book where anybody in the world could pick it up and understand the story. You didn't need any words. You can put your own words into it.
Well, I tend to agree in that, in as much as that I think that every book that is created should be able to be read, or at least understood the general premise of it by the images and the flow of those images. However, I do believe that the depth of a story is brought in by the words, um, because there's no other way to in my opinion, to convey deeper, more subtextual stuff. So that's I could be wrong, because a picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say. Words just get in the way, as Flit Amaranth says, but I think Flit Amaranth uses words in a way that doesn't get in the way at all. P.S. Melter. So is Marty a biker? Are you a biker, Marty?
Me?
Yeah.
I own a bicycle and I do have a black jacket. I'm just normie. But
She's normie.
I will admit I do like the biker style.
Like the
And
biker
I do
Your bike's
aesthetic.
appreciate
serious?
and I do appreciate the beauty that there is in the motorbikes, because I've seen them around town a lot.
I do like American style bikes better than I like Europeans or the Japanese style. Um, I love all the chrome, but then there are certain types of American bikes I prefer more than others. I like a long rake on the front forks, and I like a big fat tire in the back. I know they're ridiculous, and they turn like on a freaking, $50 bill, but they look really cool. And as long as they haven't made them too freaking much of a racket by putting like glass packs on the back, I I think they have that low rumble that I like, and they're a lot of fun to ride if you're going in a straight line for the most part, or taking a leisurely curve. Um, I've driven a couple of them. I had one friend who had a really nice bike, and he was nice enough to let me drive it once, and I was so nervous that I only went around the block because I didn't want to crash it, because it was like, a showpiece bike. But yeah, anyway,
Wow,
yeah,
that's a
it was
lot.
really cool. What was that?
That's a lot of trust.
Oh, I've been riding bikes for a long time, so it wasn't like anything where. But when you ride somebody's a bike, you really want to be very careful. So I was extremely careful riding like in the center of the road, and just went around the block to kind of get a feel of it. I didn't take it out any long distance. He said I could, but I didn't really want to. It just made me too nervous, and then he called me a pussy because I didn't do it. I was like, okay, man. Anyway, back to the chat. Nasser went past his bedtime, which he has he goes to bed early. He is sleeping now. Sleepy bye for Nasser. Lorenzo Sleestack, I've been told that Nasser is a Cult of Raven, even though he isn't in the Cult of Raven chat. That's apocryphal as far as I know. But maybe it's true. He can choose Raven if he likes. It seems to fit his aesthetic. I think his horror and all that business. That Raven would be his choice rather than Starfire. Me, I'm a happy, sexy, lucky type of guy, and Starfire fits my bill just fine. I do have to say though, some of the lewd stuff with Starfire and Raven together has often piqued my interest, I must say. Going back to the panel, Just to let you know, we have right now 6 minutes. Manny, you about done? It's looking pretty good.
No, I'm just putting more shadows.
More shadows. We like shadows. More dramatic. We like it. We like the contrast. Humble Marty, how are we coming?
Pretty good. I got the main part done.
There she is. Oh yeah. She's like a Dro Wahini with instead of coconut shells, skulls on her chesticles. Yeah. Yeah, and she's stolen the pants, and he's chasing after his pants, and he's probably gonna rue the fact that he's chasing his pants. He should just go pantsless because there's stuff going on in the background. Is that the rest of her tribe back there, hiding in the darkness, ready to pounce, or ready to suck his blood dry, or put him on a spit and make some adventure shish kebab?
Well, they are the ominous presence in the background.
Oh boy. Oh
And
boy.
she's the one just distracting him along.
That's how it happens. That's what I asked for. And that's what we got. Josh. Oh, well, look at that. Yep. She's saying look what I have here. And
This turned out pretty cool.
what is she going to do once they take the bait? Is she going to give them good loving, or is she going to make another dress out of them?
Well, you see that?
That depends. She might just tickle him.
Well, you see
Tickle him?
this river back
Yeah, there's
here?
actually been at least a couple monsters that have actually, I don't know, in a few Scandinavian folklores, there's actually been a few monsters that found tickle torture to be their favorite version of playtime.
Well,
I actually used to have nightmares about that.
I'd rather have tickle torture than death by 1,000 cuts. Really, actually. Of course, I don't tickle very easily anymore.
Well, I was thinking she's going to take him out on a little ride on her kayak or her canoe, and
I don't know. I just think
drown him
leaving
in
it
the
up to
river.
imagination makes it a bit scarier.
What was that? Josh was talking just one sec.
Oh, sorry.
Like every time. Well, that's funny.
I think she might not hear you. For some reason, Marty often doesn't hear
My
others.
audio stinks.
So yeah. Josh is going to say something so give him like at least a minute. What were you saying?
Well, I was just going to say, I was thinking, she'll take him out for a little ride in the river on her canoe, and then just let the water take him.
So feed him to the fishes, as they say.
See?
Some native cement shoes.
Exactly.
That's
never really done a picture like this before, so it's pretty cool.
Well, see, that's part of the challenge of the Cheesecake Challenge is to come up with stuff that you might have not otherwise done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
And so we do motifs that are fairly common, but then I like to throw something in that changes it up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's the idea of doing the Cheesecake Challenge and giving a challenge to artists other than just recreate Spider-Man or whatever. I want you to use your imaginations and have fun with it, because that's often where you get this something that may pay off in another time. You might come up with an idea that you actually may be able to make it sellable. That's the idea for me in many ways. For the artists, as well as I'd like to get their wares out there and people to know who and what they do. So yeah, I'm glad that you've kind of come upon one of the ideas that I think is a basis for this challenge. We are coming up on 1 minute out. Let's do the countdown. Yeah, we're just about 1 minute, just a little bit over 1 minute out right now. So hopefully you guys are ready to look at that. Flit Amaran, if you're still in the chat, please do us a straw poll. I'm sorry I should have asked you before, but I'm remiss and an idiot. But if you are there, please do that. Thank you. We only have 3 people. I guess you could throw in Illustrator Monk, but we don't have really anything to show for him. And he was kind of half finished anyway when he had to cut out to take care of his son, which is fine. Coming up on 10 seconds here in a minute. in just a second. Excuse me, not that doesn't make any sense. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, and we're done. All right. We're gonna go through this. I'm gonna go through the chat 1 second to see if Flit spoke up there. I don't think he's still there. Maybe not. All right. Okay. Will there be a girl edition next week or soon? That could be soon. I don't. It might be a little bit onerous on the artist, but we could ask that. It could be fun. I don't know girl on girl specifically, but girl doing something, jump rope or what, I don't know. Jump rope would actually be fun. Trampoline. Yeah. John Lorenzo Sleestek says John Hughes claims Nasser is in the cult of Raven. If I recall correctly, Joshua Hughes is one of Nasser's mods. Okay. Catgirl challenge. Gonna do furries about or how about blumps? Maybe furries if they're very cute and sexy. Blumps, probably not. That was P.S. Melter being the degenerate that he is, the perversion that just comes off him in waves. P.S. Melter, damn it, Timmy. Was that me or Jimmy? You had one job, yeah. And Zach Hawkins says 4, 3, 5. Poll is done. Flit Hamrant is wonderful. You release the as you do the Kraken, release the poll. P.S. Melter. What was that?
Does he release the poll?
Yeah, I did. And they're saying dyslexic Jimmy, which I am, by the way. I did do the countdown backwards because I'm a dumbass. Yeah. Just say the word and I'll drop the link. And he did. It is in the chat for those who are still hanging out. The stalwart 11 who are hanging out. And then we will do this trio of wonderful people, and they're guaranteed to get a medal. Isn't that wonderful? I think that's wonderful. Let's let me.
One vote each, except for Illustrator Monk.
Yeah, Illustrator Monk. I guess he's not here this week to finish, but he did show up, and thanks so much. Give him love when you see him, and pat on the ass. So let's see what we got here. I am going to go see Durf. I voted. All right. Everybody vote. We got 5 votes currently. And
Manny and me are tied currently. Oh, Manny just took the lead.
Manny just took the lead. Yep, he did. You guys who are in the chat, who remain in the chat, please go vote. I need your love.
No. My native girl needs love. Sepia lovin'.
P.S. Melter, remember used data. I don't remember used data. What does that mean? Anybody? Vote twice. Vote often. Okay, you're saying to cheat. To cheat.
Yeah,
Melter's a cheater. I would expect nothing less of a degenerate like Melter to suggest cheating. I really wouldn't. I mean,
what would constitute cheating? Voting for yourself?
Possibly. Yeah. So, Melter, poor Melter. We must have pity for poor Melter and his many fetishes and addictions to perversion. All right, let's give it a couple more minutes. We got 11 watching. Let me see how many we actually to. One sec. One moment.
Well, it's 11 votes.
We got 11 votes. Has everybody voted? Everybody voted in.
I think that's everybody. that's in here.
Cheesecake
Yeah,
Talent Challenge, where unlike elections, your vote actually counts. Indeed, your vote does count here. Very, very much does it count because of the low vote count. Your vote will count very much, indeed. I just was redundant to an extreme degree there. Okay, what we got? We're at 10 after, so that was 5 minutes. I'll give it 2 more minutes, just because. And then we're gonna go flip through the finalists here, the ones over here. This is Manny's, and I really like it. I'm digging it. I'm probably gonna pick this book up.
Thank you.
I think that it will spark the imagination, and it does have very, very much a Frazetta vibe to the style,
Well,
which is very cool.
he's always been one of my heroes in the art world.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, if you don't know Frazetta, what's wrong with you? And if you don't know him, go find out because he's one of the best there is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Marty. Can you bump that up a little bigger?
Oh, sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, there we go. That's good. So yeah, there's Marty's. We got the temptress Polynesian Dro, and she's it's almost done. She almost got all there. That's great. I like the concept. It's very, very fun. As usual, Marty brings fun stuff to our panel, and she always has fun things. I think one of these days when she compiles all the Cheesecake Channel stuff that she's done, she'll have a fun little book to put together. Yeah, nice, very cool. Josh has done a very nice sepia-toned Native American girl, I believe, or at least it appears so. And she is certainly putting the moves on somebody. So
indeed, it is the case.
she's saying, I want your beads, and I'm willing to trade for them. I know that's sorry. It must be racist somehow because blah blah blah. Even though I love Native Americans and I have great respect for them, apparently I'm incapable of being not racist to them in current day. You know, very lovely, Josh. I like it. She's a cute little thing with a very predatory mien to her. I'm just saying. Of course, so is Cinta. She's pretty predatory. Well, she looks a little more fun loving in this expression here.
Well, I didn't want to make her snarling. You know, she has to have a smile. You know?
Well, I mean, I think her friend there has the much more threatening vibe.
Right.
He's smiling, but he's smiling like he's just found his dinner. So there we go.
She, God, pronouns.
I know. I'm assuming his gender, but I assume that I'm just assuming because I like male. I like my saber-tooth tigers to be male. It's just a fantasy of mine. All right, back to the chat. I think we've had 2 minutes. See what they said in the interim.
Is no new votes. I think everybody's got
no
it.
new votes. Okay, so we're all done. I'm surrounded by prudes, as Melter says. Yes, you are. I mean, in comparison to you. Sometimes a guy just wants to read a Chuck Tingle book. This is true. Very true. I understand your desire. All right. I'm going to do a refresh to get this all put together properly. And Illustrator Monk did get 1 vote. So he's in the running, but he is the lowest score. Thank you for whoever was who voted for Illustrator Monk, because he got 2 votes now, so he's 2 votes, and Humble Marty is 2 votes. If that changes while I read this, then we will have to fix it. But currently now for the bronze medal, with a nice golden kind of sheen, is Illustrator Monk and Humble Marty with 2 votes apiece, both at 13%. Josh, the amazing animator, has 3 votes. 3 wonderful votes that give him the sterling silver.
Beautiful.
20%.
Awesome.
And Manny Manny Correa of Good Dog Press, of Skunk Girl fame, of Cinta fame soon to be, with 8 votes, crushing the competition. I'm so sorry for you others. He did come in hard in the paint with 8 votes, 53%. Manny Correa is the gold medal winner.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you for voting for me, guys. Really
Yeah,
means
Style over substance.
Oh man, don't get all upset. Come on, Josh.
Hey, little friendly competition. I'm
Yeah,
happy
you know.
with my. I'm happy with
Yeah,
my
yours
silver.
looks great. I loved it.
everybody
Nice.
did great. Come on.
Yeah, we all did
Come
great.
on,
So.
what's a little trash talk in here and there? That wasn't even hardcore trash talk. That was like
There's no trash talk with Good Dog Press. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
like light trash
You know,
talk.
Good Dog Press does his trash talk. He does it with his art. And you can take that 2 different ways.
Oh,
Oh, I'm surrounded by prudes. Okay, I read that. Misgendering saber-tooths. Yes, it's a problem I have. I'm sorry. Second
Take it.
place is just first place of losers. Oh, Melter.
Walter,
Melter.
be nice.
Melter. Jeez.
Oh,
This is why we can't have nice things and take you
what are you
anywhere.
talking about? I can take it. Come on, Melter.
Zach Hawkins. Good show,
You know
folks.
what's
See you
up,
later.
Melter. I'm with you
See
there.
you later, Zach. I appreciate it. KG also said later, Zach. Thanks for all you showing up. We're gonna run one more time through who was on here and what they're doing, so that they can have their time to say it. Let's start with Good Dog Press. What are you doing, man?
Well, I am doing the Unbreathable Skunk Girl right now. I do have a contest. Please, people, it's going to go for another week. It ends on Friday night. Just give me some pencils, any fan art, anybody can enter. Pro, amateur, whatever's hobbyist, and the artwork that wins will be in Skunk Girl #1. You will have a pinup page in Skunk Girl #1. And if you guys
Excellent.
have a chance, go over to Good Dog Press and go watch the Unbreathable Skunk Girl dance Fortnite.
Shaking that booty, shaking that ass, shaking
Yes,
that
she
ass.
does. Yes, she does. Thanks for
All right.
having me. Jimmy.
No problem, man. Thank you for showing up. It was a good surprise, both you and Josh showing up. Humble Marty, tell us what you're doing. Really appreciate you coming in as always. You're fun to have around.
I'll be promoting a whole bunch of comics on my Twitter page and probably be in and out. But yeah, if you want to see more of my art, I'm on DeviantArt. I also do sometimes post stuff on Twitter. I might not be there on right now because I'm busy helping out family and stuff.
That's understandable. All right. She did a great little fun thing with a Dro elf, Polynesian Dro elf. That's what I'm gonna call it, Polynesian Dro. That's a new thing. That's something that I've never seen before. I don't think anybody else has ever seen a Polynesian Dro. We have Josh, the amazing animator, with his fine young squaw. Tell us what you're doing, man.
Well, I got a comic book coming out later called Help Becky Smash, and we're doing a title. We're doing a contest right now as well, an art contest. So draw what you think Becky looks like. It's a story about 2 twin sisters, one blessed with amazing beauty, and the other cursed with hideous ugliness, horrific, awful ugliness, and they are
Repulsivity.
yeah, they're mercenaries traveling the multiverse, trying to help Becky smash.
or get smashed, as it were. Anyway,
Indeed.
that's awesome. Also, Josh is working with Troy Torres doing One Pool currently, doing a lot of great things animation wise. He's a very talented individual. We appreciate having him come on. Go get help, Becky Smash, and participate in that contest. I myself am.
I want to know what you people think Becky looks like, because there's going to be a fabulous prize for whoever's closest to the real deal.
And Josh does not, his prizes are not just lip service. He does fork up. So
I do not skimp on the prizes. And this one is probably going to be my best yet.
Nice.
You'll want
I
it. You want
I am
it.
Slick Jimmy, as everybody who knows who is a regular. I do have a book called Little Girl Lethal on Indiegogo, currently in demand. We did meet our goal. We're currently just a little bit under 22,000. If you want to help to raise that to 23,000, please go look at the campaign page and check out the art, check out the story idea, and I think you'll enjoy the beauty that is there, put by my friend Whiskey Paint and partner, who is the artist. I am the writer creator. It's a story about a young girl named Sugar Lightspeed. Sugar Lightspeed is in a great city, a megalopolis called Lost Peaks, which is an alternate Earth to ours, which is very similar yet very different to our world. She is on a quest for vengeance and also meaning in her life and where she comes from and why she is on the earth. Those are, salient questions for all of us, I think. But she has a story that needs to be fulfilled and exposed and discovered. And in so doing, in her quest for vengeance, she may pull the pins, the, uh, the foundations of her world out from underneath it, and maybe save it or destroy it in the process. And this is part of the story that will proceed out of this first book, which is actually kind of the prologue to the epic that will follow. For those of you who like that idea, please go check it out. My Indiegogo page, Little Girl Lethal. That was a pretty long pitch, but that's what there you have it. For those of you who are in the chat still, thank you for hanging out. Really do appreciate you coming out every time we do this. Pretty good. We got Tank Ferret, Art, Show It Up here at the very end. Appreciate you coming out. Lorenzo Sleestack, Flit Hammer, my mod, who does a great job. He is wonderful at his job, and I appreciate what he does. Please do me a favor, Flit, contact me on Twitter. I'd like to talk to you in DMs so that I can arrange some stuff for you. Just basically get in touch with me. Thank you. For all of you who are listening to this subsequently, thanks for coming and hanging out. If you got this far, we had a good fun night tonight with a small panel, but a good panel. Everybody, if you want to say goodbye, do a shout out right now because I'm about ready to go and put everything to bed.
Hello.
Bye.
All right. Later, people. Take care. And don't
Have a good night, everyone.
don't forget to love somebody that loves you. All right. Bye-bye. Take care.